Okay, I'm hoping this works. So you see me right now up on the board, write up the equation y equals mx plus b. Okay. So you've seen that a couple different times. Today we are going to focus on that. So before we do that, back in the old days, we would use a table of values to graph the line. If you had something like y equals, don't write this down, 3x plus 6, because that's a whole number, you know, in the real olden days, back when Mr. Barker was a kid, we went -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3, because our teachers were mean. Okay, but now we say, oh, it's too much work for you. You guys are too soft. And so we say, oh, well, just use 0, 1, and 2. Okay, but when you have a fraction, you have to use multiples of the denominator. So you want to graph whole numbers. So since this is a 2, you would go something like -2, 0, and +2. You should write that down. So then you did your little work and you substituted that in for x. So you have -1/2 times x plus 4, but the x value was -2. Okay, and so we've reviewed multiplying fractions again. This cancels to a -1, and so you're left with y equals +1, because we are multiplying, right? -1 times -1, and we get +1 plus 4, and so our y value is 5. Okay. So then we would do that again, wouldn't we, Chase? And we would substitute in. So y equals -1/2 times what, Chase? Well, the next x value is right here. So times 0. Okay? And so what's anything times 0? 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. Oh, go. So y equals 4. Now we got to do that again, don't we? All right, so we're going to substitute in 2. So we go, do the math. Go, let's go, see if you can do it. Right? I've showed you twice now, multiplying a fraction. No, when you multiply fractions like 2/3 times 3, that will be 3/1. So you multiply your tops, multiply your bottoms. Okay. Easiest thing though is to cancel first, and so you then just multiply 2 times 1. Okay. So if you're a little unsure on how to multiply by fractions, we're going to do this a ton this unit. You might want to go to Google and Google fraction times a whole number. Okay, so you might want to watch a video on doing that. Okay, but that's grade 8 math and grade 9, and I just reviewed it once. So it's up to you now to learn it. So y equals 3. Okay, graph that line now. Go. Graph that line real quick. Oh, and my computer just froze. There we go. Nope, come on thing. Obviously, it's not really liking this program. 0, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. What's the next one? 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. What's the next one? -2 and 5. There we go. I screwed something up, didn't I? Sorry? Oh, it's one more? One down. There we go. Thanks. Okay, so then we use our beautiful ruler. Okay, and so with our ruler, hello ruler. Okay, so what I want you to do now is find the slope of the line. Go for it. Okay, find the slope of the line in front. Do that real quick. So m equals rise over run, and you're going to want to count it. Okay, so you can set up your triangle. I'm going to use these points here just because I feel like it. And so for me, I got -2/4. What is that in lowest terms? -1/2. Okay, so I can count that slope all over that line. It's the same everywhere. -1, 2, down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. And I can even use that to get more points. So I go down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. Or the other direction is up and left, up and left. So I can use up and left. I can use that slope to get all those points, can't I? Yeah, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. What's about the y-intercept? Right here, where do we cross the y-axis? We cross it at 4, +4. So here's the beauty part. You never have to do a table. Oh my God, weirdo. Oh, what's going on? Slope-intercept form of the equation y equals mx plus b. M is our slope. Wow, it doesn't want to write for me. I'm expecting this thing to break on us here. And here they are. Okay, there we go. That'll be a little bit better, I think. So the M is our slope, and the B value, including the sign, is our intercept. And I'm kind of making a big point on this. You're going to ask, well, what? Of course it includes a sign. Okay, but in our next equation, it doesn't. Okay, so the sign is included in our intercept value. So if it's +4, it's +4. If it's -3, it's -3. That's our intercept. Okay, so if we're given an equation in this form, it's easy to graph the line. Step 1, plot the intercept. Step 2, use the slope to count other points. And counts in brackets because you're really finding other points, but the counting helps you get them. Okay? All right, practice time. So, looking at this equation, y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Write the slope here. Write the intercept here. Go, do it now. So you should have 2/3 written here, and it should be positive, and you should have a -1 written here, and it must be a -1. Good, so step number 1 is plot this point. Go ahead, plot it. Look at me, I'm done. Not too hard. There's a dot right there on the y-axis at -1. Now you're going to count, but what does this mean to count? What does the +2 tell you? Up 2. What does the +3 tell you? Right 3. So do that. Up 2, 1, 2, right 3, 1, 2, 3. Put a point. Do it again. Let's go. Do it again. So you should have those 2 points, or those 3 rather. Now, what's the opposite? Good, down 2, so we change the word, left 3. So put your pencil right back on the original one, which I circled, and count down 2. 1, 2, left 3, and put a point. Do it again. Put a point. Can you do it one more time? No, because you'll be off the grid. But now you can take that new device that was just invented called a ruler, and you can make a super awesome straight line. So that's why I said to you earlier, you'll never do a table of values again, because you don't need to. Okay, now there's some tricky situations. Okay, everyone have this drawn with a ruler, or Use a pencil, or sorry, use a eraser or your edge of your phone if you have to, or a piece of paper. Now we have some weird situations. This one here, okay? What's the slope of this? -3. What is that as a fraction? Yeah, any integer, any number can be written as a fraction just as over 1. So that's the tricky part. And this happens all the time, okay? But what's the intercept? Even more tricky. The only number we wouldn't have to write is plus or minus 0. So our intercept is 0. Plot that for me. Where is a y-intercept of 0? Yeah, who said that? Off the bro. You're really bringing a game today. All right. All right. So you're right at the origin, right there. So now tell me what to count. What does a -3/1 tell you to do? Down 3, right 1. And what would be the opposite? Up 3, left 1. And that's as if the slope is 3 over -1. So you can have your negative sign at the top, but you also should know if the negative sign's at the bottom, you're just counting your slope in the opposite direction. But the overall value of the slope is the same. Okay? Go ahead, plot the line. Go. So I wrote my equation here 3 different ways, okay? I wrote it here with x in the middle, I wrote it here with x up top, and I wrote it here with x down below. Which one is incorrect? Tyson, what do you think? Yeah, this one is absolutely wrong. You cannot write it with x low like that, and that's why I would completely avoid doing this. If you're a sideways fraction person, I'm going to mark that wrong, because to me, you're indicating that x is in the denominator, and it is absolutely not in the denominator. Okay, absolutely not. All right. Any questions about that? All right. So a couple different little side questions here. Determine if the point is on the line without graphing. Any ideas how you could do that? So you could substitute in and check and see if the left side equals the right side. Remember, this is an x value, that's a y value. So we are going to get 5 equals -2 times 4 plus 13. So we had 5 equals -8 plus 13, 5 equals 5. And so left side equals right side. What does that mean? It means that the point 4, 5 is on the line. Because the equation gives a true result. Okay. We're going to leave these examples. We're not going to do these examples. We're going to more focus on being able to graph, understand slope, understand intercept, and go with that. Okay? So right here, what you're doing is you are going to make the line AB. So here's the line AB. You make the line AB, and then you find your slope. This is a 3. This is a 6, so 6 over 3, which simplifies to a 2. Then you have to find your intercept. Here's my intercept. It's a -3. So now I can use this information to make my equation of a line. And so wherever this is, where I look for that down below, and it's right here, AS. So wherever there's a 1, I put the letters AS, and that's what I've done right here. Okay. For this next worksheet, I graph this equation, and then I go through a letter O. So wherever there's a number 1, I write the letter O, and that goes right there. Okay. All right, pitter patter, get at her, get this done, and then we'll go over the next ones in a second. Okay, so for these questions, what you gotta do is turn them into y equals into slope-intercept form. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2x plus 5y equals 10. We're going to minus 2x and move to the other side. So we get 5y equals, we have 2x plus 10, and then I'm going to divide by 5. So I divide the right side by 5 and the left side by 5. So it equals -2 divided by 5x plus 2. So I have two separate divisions. I have this one being divided by 5 and this term being divided by 5. So what I do then is I find my slope. Okay, so my slope equals -2 over 5, and my intercept equals +2. So where I have that, I write the letter O for the equation. So this letter O, I write that down here to make the phrase.